Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. What is going on, everybody? How are you guys?
Doing well, doing well.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We got Asher on here. We got, is it Danielle?
You got it, Danielle.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then Jacqui.
Jacqui, yeah.
Jacqui, awesome. I saw it on your intake form and I did some Googling. I was like, I don't want to call it because it looks like Jackie. And then I wanted to make sure that I pronounce it properly. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, you guys were super, super pumped to have you guys on here. I see Asher's in the mountains up in the sky right now. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But hope you guys are doing absolutely phenomenal on this fantastic Friday. I do have a word that goes along with every single day of the week. So Tuesdays are terrific Tuesdays, Thursdays, but the only one that is really lame is like winning Wednesday. Like I haven't figured out a really cool one for Wednesday. So if anybody thinks of one, wacky Wednesday or winning Wednesday is the best I've been able to come up with. Phenomenal Fridays works amazing. Phenomenal Fridays, it's phenomenal. So just saying heads up, but I'm super excited to talk to you guys about on the kickoff call today. The reason I've grouped you guys together is because you guys are all going to have very similar implementation pathways. And so it's always very nice to be able to meet other students in the program and kind of see what everybody else's goals are as well. So I'm going to go ahead and you guys might already know my name is Coach Yasin. I am going to be your host on this magical carpet ride today. I know that Asher, you are in Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
Correct.
That is awesome. I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida. I actually now live in Dallas, Texas. And so that's where I live now. But Florida, how long have you lived in Florida for?
13 years.
Nice. Okay, cool. Where did you live before that?
Jersey.
Jersey. Hey, Jersey. I'm sure you don't miss the cold, right?
Not at all. Though I do love the mountains, so I gotta have a little bit of both.
That is true. 100%. 100%. I know, Jacqui, I believe you are in Virginia. Is that right? Nice. Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
right
awesome.
outside of DC.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I have a buddy of mine. One of my best friends lives in Rockville, Maryland, which I think is like around that area as well. So real close over there. Absolutely. And then Danielle, I believe you are located in Connecticut.
I'm in Connecticut. Yep, Stamford, in Harbor Point, but I'm a New York girl, born and bred. So
nice. Okay. We got some Jersey, Jersey and New York competition going on here.
Yeah,
that's right.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And then that way you guys can please let me know if you are able to see my screen, please. Yeah, awesome. Danielle can see my screen. Jacqui, how about you? Awesome. Asher, how are we doing?
Yeah.
Awesome. Phenomenal. So let's get this party started. Now, what I want you guys to know is that today's call is going to be divided into two parts. The very first part of today's call is going to be the kickoff call portion of things. So we're going to go over your program resources, kind of the admin side of things, just making sure that you guys are well situated on knowing where everything is. I know that some of you guys have already started inhaling, and I don't say that lightly. I mean, inhaling literally the content. I know Jacqui has just been like going through it like crazy. Now, if you haven't been, that's fine as well. No problemo, no issues there. The second half of today's call, guys, is going to be a coaching call. So that is where I'm going to be talking to you guys about your implementation pathway. What does that mean? Sounds like a fancy term. Implementation pathway means what part of this textbook that is the OFP curriculum are we going to be taking apart for you guys to be able to reduce your path to cash? Meaning, how can you get your first clients the OFP way within the first 1 to 2 weeks? So that is going to be the second half of today's call where I'm going to be breaking that down for you guys. Does that sound good for everybody? Cool. Awesome. I got all thumbs up. I love it. So let's go ahead and get this party started. As you guys might already know, my name is Coach Yasin. I am the COO of OFP. You guys have already spoken to this handsome devil right here, Coach Malik. But I also, guys, want you to know that we have an entire team that's here to support you. We got Jennifer, Jane, Jack, and Christine. We got an entire team that's here to make sure that you guys are well taken care of on your journey to success. Now, the other thing is that I'm not sure how much Coach Malik told you guys about our backstory, but Coach Malik actually ran 5 personal training studios in the Los Angeles area. And then when COVID hit in March of last year, he unfortunately had to shut them all down. And so that's when him and I started a company called NutriFit Wellness. We added 257 online clients in our first 4 months in business. And we were like, damn, okay, we might be onto something here. And so that's when we went out and helped Coach Jamal. He runs Garage Team Fitness out here in Fort Worth, Texas. And he did 11 grand cash collected his first 30 days. And then obviously since then, we've had a lot of people go through the program and see some amazing results. So I show you this to show you that the program works, the systems work, the processes work, It's just a matter of helping Asher and Jacqui and Danielle do the work so you guys can see similar results as well. Sound good? Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I got the thumbs up from Danielle, so we're good to go. I love it. I love it. I love it. So before I get rocking and rolling here, though, I would love to hear a little bit about you guys in terms of how did you hear or find out about OFP and what really motivated you to join the OFP Grow program. And so Danielle, since you're number one at the top of my screen, so I'll go ahead and get started with you.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that I heard about OFP originally through an Instagram ad, which makes sense because I was kind of looking for a coach or a coaching program. So a little bit about my business. So I do personal training and nutrition coaching, but all one-on-one. Most of it is delivered online, so over Zoom, but it is a very one-on-one time-intensive model. And very quickly, I've been running the business for about a year, pretty quickly realized this is just not going to be sustainable for me from like a time standpoint and also a lead gen standpoint. Like for me to hit kind of the monthly revenue that I want to hit, I need to be selling anywhere between like 4 and 6, nutrition packages a month, which is a lot, continuously over time. So I started kind of thinking about, all right, how am I going to shift this model, go more online, leverage an app. And that's when I started kind of thinking about coaching programs to help me out with that switch. So I think Instagram just kind of like figured it out based on my searches, and I got the OFP ad, and here I am.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I appreciate the background. That might play into, the phones are always listening to us. They might have, Facebook must have heard you and then delivered you the right ad at the right time. And I think in your situation, I know on your intake form, you had mentioned that you have 5 PT clients that are either in person or one-on-one over Zoom. And then you also said you had 3 nutrition clients. So does that mean that you have 8 clients altogether right now?
Currently, yes. So
Okay.
I had more, but I've been stopping selling one-on-one, knowing that I want to switch to this model. So I'm trying to let my current clients kind of trail off on their programs. So
Got it.
at like peak, I probably had maybe 5 on the personal training side and anywhere from like 6 to 10 on the nutrition side. Yep. So
Awesome.
I've just shut that down for now.
Phenomenal. That gives me some good background information when we get to the coaching and implementation pathway part of today's call. That way I'll be able to guide you a little bit further on that specific situation. So awesome. Danielle, thank you so much for sharing with me. Jacqui, you're the next person on my hit list of here. Go ahead and talk to me about how did you hear or find out about OFP?
So I'm pretty much the same. It was a very random, which now I see anticipation post that came through IG. I don't know what inspired me that day because there are a lot in my feed to click on it. And then I joined the group and I am, got me. Like, that's literally, I mean, when you talk about gotcha, like that's totally me. The value of the content was coming, weekly. I got on then I had the messenger conversation with Malik, where he gave me some homework and I was like, okay. And then we had like a call and I was like, and I'm in, like, I am like full throttle funnel. Here I am.
I love it. I love it.
For me, I have 3. I've only ever been online. But at this time, I have just 3 online clients who I'm the same as Danielle, like, trying to uncomfortably phase out of as I ramp up, to do this. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I know in your case, you're already using Trainerize based off your intake form as well. So I'm excited to talk to you about, yes, you're going to still use Trainerize, but we're going to talk to you about how to use it in a way that's scalable. And that's obviously something going to be very advantageous for Danielle as well, for you guys to go through that process. And so I love it. I love it. I love it. And then the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Asher, I know your background is a little bit different, but I think you have 1 virtual client right now that you're doing Zoom workouts for.
Well, I mean, he's kind of been he's a student, so, can I get him to commit? I was doing it. So I'll be honest, this is like my 3rd program doing this. Strike 1, strike 2, and this is, 3's the charm here. I kind of went through a few different ones here and didn't really feel comfortable and like situated away doing it, spending a lot of money. I run a kids fitness, mobile kids fitness business. So it was growing prior to COVID. COVID put me on ice. I had a big summer, and now things are kind of slowly coming back. So that's where I was making my money. I have coaches, instructors that work underneath me. And so it's like, I want to look for something that's I can do online. I've done the virtual thing. I really don't like it at all. And so I was like, this is probably a better way. And I've been in the industry for a number of years. So, I don't want to reinvent the wheel, rather have someone show me doing it. And Coach Malik and I had a really good conversation. We spoke twice. So that was really what got me. It was between you guys and someone else. And I was like, okay, I feel more at home with this than in the other program. And I started going through a lot of the content already, and it's familiar to what I've done before. I just like the idea of developing an app and having coaching sessions as opposed to sitting and someone canceling a training session with me, because I've been there, done that.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I'm tired of that.
100%, 100%. That way you can have some more time to go and visit some mountains, because having been raised in Florida, there definitely ain't no mountains in Florida. So I'm also a mountain person. My wife and I are actually taking a trip out next week to Colorado. We were at the Grand Canyon 2 weeks ago. So I'm also a mountain person. And so I'm 100% with you. Trying to train sessions and then trying to go visit mountains, they don't go together at the same time. So we got to get you mobile a little bit more. Absolutely. 100%. And so as you guys can see, 100%, I appreciate you sharing with me, Asher, as well.
And I also saw the ad on Instagram too. So it was, Instagram marketing, I guess, is working.
And one thing I'll mention to you guys about when we get to the training portal is that we actually do already have ads built out for you guys to run for your own fitness businesses. And we teach you guys how to run Facebook and Instagram ads click by click by click. And so the funny thing I always tell all of our new students is like, all the things that we kind of did to you to get you into the program, we're going to be teaching you guys exactly how to do click by click, step by step on how to do that for your own businesses, for the marketing and sales side. And then for the fulfillment side, you're going to see, as you can see, the theme with all three of you guys is that you guys are looking for a most scalable fulfillment model. And that's exactly what we're going to be breaking down in today's call for you guys as well. So I'm excited to dive into all of that. So awesome. Good stuff. So I appreciate you guys sharing with me. Let's get this party continued. I'm excited. This is real good stuff. And I apologize. When I get excited, sometimes I do talk a little bit fast. So if you guys do need me to slow down, please don't hesitate to let me know. But anyway, so big thing on here, what I want you guys to know is that we here at OFP are committed to seeing every single one of our students succeed inside of the program. And so in order to make that commitment a reality, we have multiple support measures in place that I'm going to be breaking down for you guys one by one. So we're going to talk about the training portal. We're going to talk about the live classes and coaching calls. We're going to talk about the student community as well as the support email. So let's go ahead and dive into the first one, which is your training portal. Now, when you first log into the training portal, as you guys have already seen, there is the OFP Grow program, and then there is the OFP coaching portal. We are going to come back to the OFP coaching portal here in a second, but I want to first talk about the Grow portal. Okay. Now I know, Jacqui, you've already kind of just like inhaled this. I know that when you're having a brief conversation, you've kind of just like gone through a lot of these steps already. Is that right, Jacqui?
Yes. I just was trying to wrap my mind around what I'm doing. I want to be prepared for today.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Asher, how about you? How far have you gotten through the training so far?
I'm completed step 1 and launch and road ahead and the foundations. So I'm up to the group.
Gotcha. I love it. I love it. Good job. Awesome. Awesome. And then Danielle, how about you? How much have you consumed so far?
I am very much at the beginning. I was finishing cert this past week, done. But now this is my focus. So I'm probably the others, but full commitment going forward.
Oh, good. I love it. I love it. I love it. No issues there. There was no expectation to get any portion done before the kickoff call. So no problem at all. And so what I want to go ahead and do is I want to dive in for you guys and kind of give you guys the 30,000 foot overview of the training and how it kind of breaks down, as well as breaking down the fulfillment model that you guys are going to be selling every day going forward from this day forward. Okay. So as you guys have already noticed, there are 5 steps in here, and we have worked extremely, extremely hard to make this look deceivingly simple. What I mean by that is that you look at step number 1 and you're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And I think Jacqui fell into this, I think like a week or 2 ago. She's like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Boom. Number 1. I just finished this video, on to number 2, boom, next one. And then what you realize is like, oh, damn, step number 1 has 4 modules. And then every single module has like 6 or 7 trainings in it. And so as you go through this, you're going to see that step number 1 by itself has like 30 plus trainings. And then you go through step number 2, you go to marketing message, you're like, oh, dang, there's 3 trainings in there. And then you go to group content on here and you're like, oh, dang, there's like 9 trainings in there. And then as you go through, you're going to see that the content looks simple, but it's also very in-depth. The second point I want to mention, is that almost every single training has a workbook guide that goes along with it. So anything you see inside of the actual training videos, in the resources section is going to be guides and sheets and swipe files and templates and scripts. All of that is broken down for you guys step by step by step. Okay. Now, what I want to break down for you guys on here is that step number 1 is all going to be about the foundations and getting your Facebook group launched. Now, for all of you guys, I'm actually going to be helping you skip modules 3 and 4. So Asher, it's good that you just started group setup because you're going to probably end up skipping some of that based off the implementation pathway I talked to you about at the end of today's call. Okay, so I don't want you to worry about too much about it right now, but I'll talk to you about it here towards the end of our call. Step number 2 is all about getting attention. So this is the biggest thing I want you guys to understand as you guys move away from sessions to online coaching, is that from this day forward, you guys will all be selling 3 pieces as a part of all of your packages. Those 3 pieces are going to be fitness, nutrition, and accountability, okay? And the reason why this is so powerful is because this is what separates you from everybody else in the market. This is why nobody compares you to Planet Fitness for 15 bucks a month down the street. This is why people understand why you charge what it is that you charge, because of the fact that when you have all 3 of these pieces together, it is impossible for somebody not to get results. The reason why people do not do well with just a gym membership is because there is no nutrition and accountability. The reason why people do not do well with just Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers is because there's no fitness and there's no accountability. And so when you have these 3 pieces of the puzzle together, that is how you are able to guarantee results. And from this day forward, in your marketing and in your sales, what you sell is the end result. What you sell to the prospect is not, oh, you're gonna have 15 sessions with me for X amount of money every single month and all this kind of stuff. No, from this day forward, what you are selling is, Tina, imagine how awesome you're gonna look at 130 pounds in that bikini that you wanna wear next summer, and how your husband is crazy over you because you look like America's top next model, and how it's gonna be amazing for you and how your life is gonna look. You're gonna sell Jacob on the fact that he's gonna have rock solid abs, and his wife is gonna be like, honey, how did you become a hunk all of a sudden? That is what you're selling. You guys are selling the vacation, not the plane flight. And you are going to be guaranteeing those results as long as the client and the prospect does what it is that you tell them to do every step of the way. Now, if you have any questions about what it is that I just talked about, all of that is discussed in step number 2, marketing message, where we literally break down fitness, nutrition, and accountability and exactly what that means and exactly what clients are paying for. The reason I'm talking to you guys about this on the kickoff call is because this is the number 1 mindset shift that you need to make from going from training and sessions to going to online coaching and results and transformations. That is step number 2. Also in step number 2 is the group content. So when you also do get to the point where you are going to be doing lead gen and content marketing and lead nurture, all of the different types of posts that you can do inside of your Facebook group, the different live streams, anticipation posts, the hand raiser posts, with the content calendar, swipe files, examples, scripts, all of that is broken down for you step by step. You can see here, when you start doing live streams, this is a 40-minute training with me doing a live stream example, like a real live stream example in the training, and then us breaking it down again. And we provide for you the exact script on what a profitable live stream formula would look like. Cool, you do for 5 minutes, you do the intro and the start. For 2 minutes, you talk about who we do and what we are. You do the training for 15 or 20 minutes. So all of the training you've seen Coach Malik do, this is kind of like the behind the scenes skeleton breakdown of how it's done. And that is what you guys are going to be learning. You can see this is just one resource that is available inside of that module. Awesome. And so that is step number 2, which is getting attention. Step number 3, guys, is going to be all about sales and acquisition. So step number 3 is about getting clients. Inside of the very first module of step number 3, we talked to you about setting up your Calendly so you can start having a calendar for booking sales calls, setting up your Stripe so you can start collecting credit card payments over the phone, as well as a sales member agreement form that has already been vetted by our legal team that is ready for you to download and start using with all of your new prospects. You send it to them, they do an electronic signature, boom shakalaka, you're off to the races. That has already been created for you. The template is already there. It's 100% editable with your own logo. You just download it, change the name, change the logo, boom. You now have a sales member agreement form. The theme that you will notice with the OFP program is that we like to make sure that everything is pretty much already built out for you. It's basically like we've already built this, the race car for you. All you got to do is take it to the track and hit the accelerator button. And so you're going to notice that we've done as much as we can to make it as simple as possible for you guys and giving you everything in a box. Also in step number 3 is all of the sales training in terms of how to book calls via messenger conversations, the exact script on what to say, how to say it, the conversation you had with Coach Malik. Our sales team actually choreographed that conversation. We know what questions to ask in the messenger conversation that gets the conversation flowing. We have already built out for you guys the fitness script for that. So you can see here, messenger script. I go right over here, messenger script, and you will see the fitness messenger script is already built out for you. We've tested this with thousands of clients, and you will be able to go through the training and know how to be able to get book calls through messenger. As well as the sales training on here. We have some of the best fitness sales training on the planet. Walks you through how to handle objection overcomes, how to be able to sell the vacation, how to not end up talking about sessions and macros and metabolic resting rate, all the things that overwhelm clients. Don't talk to people about that on the sales call. I'm telling you right now. And so how you do the entire sales choreography with examples of successful closes on sales, all of that is discussed inside of step number 3. Oof, I feel like I just talked a lot. That was a lot. Any
water.
questions? Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I saw you, Danielle. You were just sipping away at, I think, your coffee in the.
I'm on coffee number 3. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Any questions from you guys so far about steps 1, 2, and 3? Cool. Awesome. Now, this is going to be the cool part for you guys. Step number 4. Step number 4, Danielle, did something come to your mind? Yes, I saw you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Is there a reason that we're not going to talk about, or why are we skipping 3 and 4 in launch, which had to do with setting up the Facebook group or something like that?
That's a great question. So I would put a pin in that because I'm not 100%. I'm going to be talking to you more about that in the implementation pathway about why we're going to be skipping that immediately. However, if you find extra time to be able to go through modules 3 and 4, you're more than welcome to, depending on what your schedule looks like. But my job in the implementation pathway is I want to make sure that I can condense the amount of time that you guys are spending on all of these trainings rather than sitting there for the next 6 weeks going through all the training. I'm going to be picking and choosing which ones are more priority for you guys to execute on. So that way you guys can get more clients faster. And then we can come back and kind of work on some of these other trainings.
Cool.
Absolutely. Great question. Great question. Now, step number 4, you guys. Step number 4 on here is literally how to coach the clients online. Now, I am not exaggerating when I say that we have literally broken this down into a 6- and 7-figure online health and wellness coaching business in a box. We literally give you guys the meal plans, the workouts, the templates, how to update the client's programs, when to update the client's programs, what to say on a daily basis, what to say on a weekly basis. You will see here that the foundation of this entire coaching system is built on what we call the 12-step nutrition program, okay? There are 12 steps in this program, and every single one of these steps has a training for you as a coach on what it is that you are going to be walking your clients through on here. Now, I'm going to give you a quick 30,000-foot overview of the 12-step system, okay? 12-step system is designed around habit and lifestyle change so your clients can lose the weight and keep it off for the rest of their life. They start off with a 10-day detox. That is basically a carb depletion to help them lose some quick weight and lower the inflammation. The reason that is the case is because there's a lot of PhD research studies that show that if you can get somebody to lose 2 to 5 pounds in the first week, they are 80% more likely to stick with the program. We've consulted with a lot of people to build the system, and so we've kind of designed it that way. Step number 2 after that is the hand method skill, where you're going to be teaching clients on how to measure their food with their hands and portion sizes with that. Step number 3, after they've mastered step number 2, is how to use a weight scale and how to measure your food on a weight scale. Step number 4 is how to use MyFitnessPal and enter that food into MyFitnessPal. Step number 5, you give them a calorie target. Step number 6, you give them a calorie protein target, and on and on and on and on. Now, one thing I'm going to mention on here, this program is not a 12-week program. It is a 12-step program. What that means is that Tina does not move to step number 3 until she has shown that she has adequately mastered compliance to step number 2. And so the goal here is to help them change their habits, not just move them along the step program until it's like, oh, hey, congratulations, you finished the 12-step program. That's not the goal. The goal is to help them lose the weight by mastering their habits. Now, the next thing I'm going to say on here, every single one of these steps comes with a meal plan in and of itself. Okay. So let me show you, I'm going to show you 2 meal plans on here. I'm going to show you the step 2 meal plan, which is the hand method skill. And I'm going to show you the step 3 meal plan, which is the measuring skill. Okay. And I'm going to show you these right here, right now. Can you guys see my screen? Everybody good? Awesome. So this is step number 2. Remember, step number 2 was the hand method skill. So you say, hey, Tina, awesome. Congratulations. You're on step number 2. What we're going to do is we're going to help you now learn how to be able to measure your food with your hands. And so you're going to have 3 meals with 2 snacks. And so those 3 meals are going to be made up of protein, carb, and veggie. What are you going to do when you got to eat a protein for breakfast? You're going to come over here to the protein list and you're going to pick what protein you want to eat. And you're going to have a palm portion of that protein. The reason why we do not give clients actual meal plans like eat eggs for breakfast and do this is because of the fact that you are spoon feeding clients and you are not teaching them how to be able to do this on their own. And so then you say, cool, for a carb, you're going to pick any one of these carbs. You're going to have a fist portion of carbs. And then you're going to have a fist portion of veggies. And then for dinner, you're just going to replace the carb with a fat. You can have a thumb portion of any of these fats.
What
Simple as
about for
Okay.
gluten-free, plant-based, all that stuff? Do you guys break that down as well?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So on here, we actually have vegan and vegetarian PDF meal plans as well. And the other thing I'm going to mention is that all of these PDFs, we do provide for you the editable templates. And so if you want to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm anti-chicken. I never want anybody to eat chicken in my entire organization ever. Cool. No problem. For whatever reason, I like chicken, but if you don't like chicken, that's fine. What you do is you just download this PDF and you take out and you can edit all of these, the images, the text, the portion sizes, everything you want to edit, you're more than welcome to. Remember, I said that this is literally a 6 and 7 figure coaching business in a box. We literally white label and gray label everything for you. You can put your logo on it. You can change any names on it. Everything is already built out for you, completely editable. This is the hand method skill. The second one on here is the measuring skill. So you say, hey, cool. Now you're on the measuring skill. What you're going to now do is, and these measuring skills, actually, they come with like different, depending on how big the client is, right? So there's multiple ones on here for that. And so you'd say, cool, instead of having a palm portion of protein now, you're gonna have 170 grams of chicken breast, let's say for, protein in the morning or whatever, or 6 egg whites, or whatever that might look like. And so, like I said, all of this is already built out for you guys that goes along with the 12-step system. And that is just the nutrition side of things. We then teach you guys click by click by click on how to set up Trainerize, set up the habits in Trainerize using our system, and how to get that entire platform set up, because that is going to be the platform that houses your client communication, where you upload their workouts, where you upload their meal plan. All of that is going to be inside of an app called Trainerize. And I know, Jacques, since you're already using that, you're going to just set it up the way that we talk about it in here. So you're going to set it up from scratch. And so that is step number 4, which is coaching clients. And if you do this properly, fulfilling on a client every single week should not take you any more than 15 to 20 minutes a week.
Is that across clients?
Across client, as in that's per client.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's per client. And that includes you updating their program every single week. That is inside of that 20 minutes a week. Yeah, great question. Now, for those of you, when you get to that stage where you guys are ready to hire coaches underneath you, this is going to be something for you guys to notate, is that the average owner can handle about 20 to 25 clients on their roster. Now, the reason why the owner can handle that much is because they have to do other things in the business. They have sales calls, they got group content, they got lead gen, marketing, all that kind of stuff. But the average full-time coach can handle about 70 clients on their roster. So when you get to the point where you're ready to hire a full-time coach, I would recommend that you first do the first 10 to 15 clients yourself. And then after that, you're more than welcome to hire a coach. And when you get to that section, inside of bonus, there is an entire hiring coaches training. We talked to you guys about how to find the coaches, how to interview the coaches, how to qualify the coaches, how to train the coaches, how to pay the coaches, when to pay the coaches, how much to pay the coaches. All of that is already built out for you inside of the bonus. And so you have a calculator in there called Online Health Coach Expectations. Inside of here, you can basically figure out how much a coach would make on a weekly, monthly, and yearly basis based off how many clients they have and their workload breakdown as well. All of that is already built out for you guys when you guys get to that point. Yep. Awesome. 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 Cool. Good stuff. Last piece on here, step number 5 is going to be fueling the party. This is going to be, okay, cool. We got a couple online clients. We understand how this process works. We understand how to, build their nutrition and their fitness and their accountability. We understand how to be able to fulfill on the promises that we made inside of the sales call. How do I now really just scale this to the moon? That is going to happen through 2 methods. The first method is organic marketing. The second method is paid advertising. Organic marketing right here, we have an entire module, 8 trainings on that in depth on how to grow your network organically. some of the best training for online health and wellness coaching businesses. And then on here we have 3 modules for paid traffic. We literally have the funnels, the ads, the copy, the creative already built out for you. You just have to download it and then know where to put it on Facebook and Instagram click by click. And that is why we have the tech set up, so you can learn how to be able to run Facebook and Instagram ads successfully. So we teach you how to set up your domain, how to set up your Facebook pixel, how to get to download the funnel, how to set up the funnel. All of that is broken down inside of step number 5. Oof, that was a lot, huh? Anybody feel overwhelmed? Everybody okay?
Okay, so the first part is once we cleaned up our Facebook profile. I'm just thinking about myself for a moment there. We're not setting up the group. We're just going to start getting attention. Is that really the key? And go through all the steps in 2, and then go right to 3, and then come back to the group.
That is a great question. So I actually have all of this broken down for you guys in an email that I'm going to be sending you guys in terms of something I've already prepared ahead of time for you guys and what I call your guys' implementation pathway. And so your guys' implementation pathway is going to be made up of, there are 7 trainings, and let me go ahead and pull this up. I can show you guys OFP coaching called notes. So I was talking to some clients on the coaching call yesterday about this, so I was able to put this together. But so I recorded a training on this guy for you guys already, but there are basically 7 pieces of training that you guys are going to be going through. And I'm going to be talking to you guys about that towards the end of our call, so you guys can understand exactly what order to go through on the training, so you guys are not overwhelmed and you guys are able to make sure that you guys are knocking it out of the park. So great question, Asher. I'm going to get to it a little bit more here in a second. Absolutely. And so my goal is really in the first week or 2, I want you guys to really kind of wrap your head around how the system works. And then once you understand how the system works, you'll feel more confidence when you get on the sales call, because me throwing you guys into a sales call and you guys are like, well, what exactly am I selling here? And how does all this work? I'm telling you guys are not going to be able to close. And so that's what we're going to be talking about here in a little while. Cool. Training. That was a training portal. I'm going to really quick fly through the rest of this because I want to make sure that we have enough time for you guys' implementation pathway. So please slow me down if you guys have any questions about this. But next up is going to be the live classes and the coaching calls. So every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time and 3 p.m. Pacific time, we have a live class and coaching call that happens. Now, I try to do this like mental gymnastics thing where I try to convert all the time zones in my head to everybody that's on the call. So I think Asher, that's going to be 6 p.m. EST for you. Danielle, that's also going to be 6 p.m. EST for you. And then for you, Jacqui, oh man, 6. That's also 6 p.m. for you, right?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey, that was easy. That was actually gymnastics, and that was just super easy for. Okay, cool. Yeah. 6 p.m. EST, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. You guys have the live class and coaching call that's going to happen. Okay. And so inside of those calls, they are on Zoom, and we basically bring you guys on one by one to talk to either Coach Malik and I. Now, the thing is that those calls are happening in a group format, meaning that there are going to be other students on the call that can hear your questions as well. And the reason we do that is because some students who are introverts, they don't like to go out and ask a lot of questions, but they love to learn from other people's questions as well. And so those classes are going to happen at 6 p.m. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. If you have a roadblock, an obstacle, a question you want to have answered, you're more than welcome to hop on those coaching calls.
1 hour?
They're for 1 hour. Yep, exactly. They're for 1 hour, but you're more than welcome to hop on, hop off, depending on, once you get your question answered. If you want to stick around, you're more than welcome to do so during that time. So we have some clients, some students who come in for 15, 20 minutes, get their question answered, and then hop off from there. Next thing on here is how to attend the coaching calls. You'd attend the coaching calls at the top right of the portal. It says coaching calls. You click on that, and then there's going to be a link right here that takes you to the coaching calls. You just click on that link, and that'll put you inside of the coaching call in there. Next up on the coaching calls, we actually do record all of those and upload those into the OFP coaching portal. So you go OFP coaching portal. We have all of the recordings on there. As you can see, September is all in there as well. So if you miss any of the coaching calls, you are more than welcome to, on an as needed basis, look at those recordings if you need to as well. Cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Next up we have is the student community. Student community is a VIP invite-only Facebook group with all of our top current active students. I believe everyone has gotten welcomed into the student community so far, right? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. Now, the cool thing about the student community, in addition to it being a place where you can get your questions answered, it is also a place to have your beliefs broken. What do I mean by that? Is because as you go through this program, You're going to say, you know what, there might be this difficulty, this difficulty, this difficulty, I'm having, XYZ difficulty. But then as you start to notice, there's, for example, clients like Raquel, who's in the program, who has 3 kids. She runs a business with her husband, and she closed, I think, like 10 grand last week. And you'd be like, damn, okay, if that's possible for her, why isn't it possible for me? The other thing you're going to notice is that at the very top of the student community, we have a new sales post that's pinned. And usually our new students who just closed their first couple sales do come in here and post. So you have 150 comments so far. And you are going to see in here, let me show you some results and some wins over the last couple of weeks on here, okay? So you're going to notice that there are going to be people in the program that are like, first off is Hector. Let's look at Hector over here. So Hector over here says, hey, had my first strategy session this morning, resulting in a 24-week, $2,400 sale paid in full. Okay, cool. That's not bad. Next up, follow up. Just had my second strategy session. Sold a 12-week program, paid in full, $1,200. Hey, not too shabby. He says, can every day be like this? Yeah, definitely. Next up, he says, hey, had my third strategy session, sold another 24-week program, $2,400 paid in full, feeling pumped. The guy closed $6,000 in cash collected in 3 days. Pretty impressive. Then you go down, you can see here, this is Emilio sold a $50 a week for 20 weeks, easy $1,000. This is Raquel, second bolt-on sale. Then later on in the day, she says, just closed my third client on there. This is David. He says, wow, I've been through so many programs and spent a lot of money, and I finally think I found something that works. I closed $1,173 for a 12-week package and $499 for a 6-week package. Kenny, first strategy session today, $2,400 paid in full. He's dancing like a bear. This is David. You can see here, who's that guy who just sold another 24-week program paid in full? That's Chris Rivers. So as you can see, just sold my first 48-week program. This is Catherine. Last week, this week, I sold 2 24-week programs, $4,800. 2 sales this week in 16 hours, $2,400 each. Plus, I sold one guy using the free information before I enrolled with you guys, $7,200 in 5 days. And that was yesterday that he posted that. So again, I show you guys this to show you that it is possible. And this is really what the power of the student community is that it allows you to really get your beliefs broken as you go through this process, as well as get your questions answered and everything like that. So that is the student community. Any preguntas for me about the student community? Anybody? Good? Cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Preguntas is a tablecloth in Japanese, by the way. It's not, I'm joking. It's questions in Spanish. I'm joking. I'm kidding. Next up, you guys, we have is the support email. So the support email is basically where if you are having difficulty logging into your training portal, you got to get your credit card information changed. You can reach out to us at support@onlinefitprosecrets.com. And Jane and our support staff will be able to get back to you within 24 business hours. Now, one request that I do have for you guys is that I do ask you please use support properly. Prior to becoming an OFP student, your line of communication was with Coach Malik via Messenger. But I please ask you pray for Coach Malik because he has so many messages inside of his Messenger. The chances of him being able to even see your message are going to be very difficult. And so that is why you as this OFP student have authorized support channels to get your question answered ASAP. And so that's why I recommend that you go ahead and use the student community, the support email, the coaching calls, the portal. All of that is a resource for you available. So that way you guys can actually get your questions answered ASAP as an OFP student now. You guys get the priority. And so I just ask that you do please use support properly so that way you guys can get your questions answered ASAP. Next up is support hierarchy. Step number 1, if you have a question, watch the trainings in full and do the work because most of the questions are answered in the training. If you still have a question, search the student community for help articles and solutions to common problems. If you still have a question, ask your question in the student community and one of our coaches or community members will be able to help. If you still have a question after that, you can attend one of the multiple coaching calls that we have every single week to get your question answered. And if you still have a question after that, which dang, that must be one doozy of a question, right? Step number 5 is you just go ahead and shoot us an email and we'll be able to answer your question that way as well. So you can see here, we're all about support. We want to make sure that you guys are getting the support that you're looking for and getting your questions answered as well. Now, even though we provide all of that support, one of the things I always do tell all of our new students is that just like you can't eat the salad for your clients and you can't do the push-ups for your clients, we are unable to build your business for you. And so even though we are providing for you literally everything that is necessary to be successful, it's going to be up to you to put in the action and be able to execute, and that way you guys can be successful. But what that means is that you will still have a lot of hiccups and failures. For those of you who have kids, is you've seen babies on average fall down an average of 50 times a day for up to 2 years before they learn how to walk. 50. They fall down 50 times a day for up to 2 years. Now, my question to you is, who is going to be more resilient? James, who's a 1-year-old baby who's learning how to walk, or you, the business owner, who's willing to fall down 50 times a day until you learn how to walk? It's James or you. I'm telling you, you got to decide who's going to be more resilient. And so I'm not kidding when I say that, is because when the first time you do your first sales call, the way that we talk to you about it, you're going to suck. And it's going to be terrible. You're going to hate yourself. You're going to say, I never want to get on a sales call ever again. And then I'm going to get this recording and I'm going to send it to you. And I'm going to be like, guess what? Remember I talked about this? And so the first time you do your live stream, the first time you set up a client, the way that we talk about it on Trainer Eyes, it's not going to be easy. And so this program is designed like a toolbox to give you all of the tools you need to be successful. But there's a lot of tools in this toolbox that you've never used before. And so it would not be reasonable for you to be good at something you've never done before. And so my biggest recommendation is for you guys to let go of the expectation that you are going to be good at any of this stuff when it's the first time you've done it. The same time, like the first time you learn how to swim, if you like, hey, I've never swam before, but I think the first time I swim, I'm going to swim like Michael Phelps. That's somebody you call a crazy person because you've never done it before. Why do you think you're going to be good at it? But the problem is that for some reason we get students in here and they think, you know what, I'm going to be amazing at this from the get-go. Just because we're providing for you the support doesn't mean that you've already learned the experience without actually doing it. And so that is what I want to go ahead and tell you, is that if you remember, and Asher, I'm going to quiz you on this, is that when we're trying to help people build massive biceps, we say that it's all about time under what?
Tension.
Time under tension. In other words, it's all about time under stress, time under overwhelm. How long are you willing to be able to put up with being overwhelmed so that way you can actually grow? That is the recipe for growth. Whenever you're trying to build a biceps, chest, anything in life, it's really all about time under tension. Time under tension is how long are you willing to be able to put up with being under tension until your body starts to adapt and you start to be able to learn how to do this. And so as long as you guys execute and as long as you communicate, you will see the results that you are looking for. That is my Grammy, Emmy nominated speech, motivational speech. So if anybody contacts you guys to nominate me for a Grammy, please, I ask that you guys do give my nomination.
Love it.
Awesome. Now, I do just want to make sure though, because this is my main job. Other than giving motivational Emmy nominating speeches, my main job is to make sure that you guys don't feel too much like this little girl on the screen right now. Anybody feeling like that? Because she's not having a good day. My job is to make sure you guys do have a good day. So everybody okay with me so far? We good? Awesome. Cool. Just making sure. Any questions? Does anybody have any questions for me about anything that we've talked about so far? No, we good? Okay, cool. Awesome. So let's go ahead and let's next talk about your guys' implementation pathway, okay? So this is going to be me breaking down your guys' implementation pathway. Don't worry, you guys don't have to jot down everything that's on the screen. I will be going ahead and emailing this to you guys, but I do want you to make sure that you guys are open-minded to asking me any questions that you guys might have, okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and break this down so that way it's easy and simple and understandable for you guys. So the very first part of this implementation pathway that I built for you guys, the first 7 steps of this are going to be training that you need to consume. Now, one thing I'm going to mention here is, before I get into this, is I actually just uploaded this morning, which is that in the welcome module, I went over this yesterday with a group of clients, and it's called Implementation Pathway First Online Clients Within 2 Weeks, okay? I went over this yesterday, and it took me about 21 minutes to go over in more in depth. So if you have any, you're like, I didn't 100% understand what he was saying on the kickoff call, this is available for you guys in the welcome module. I literally just uploaded it this morning, okay? But I'm gonna walk you guys through it again, and then you can refer to this if you need to kind of go through it again. Sound good? Everybody with me? Awesome, cool. Let's do this. Awesome. So the first 7 pieces of this action steps on here are trainings that you need to go through in order to wrap your head around what in the world did I just get myself into. And so part 1 on here is step number 1, module number 1, all of the trainings in there. So again, do this on your computer. Don't try to do this on your phone or iPad because it's going to look completely different. You're going to be lost. It's step number 1, module number 1 right here. All of the trainings that are inside of this module, you want to make sure that you go through. That is part number 1 of this implementation pathway. Step 1, module 1, all trainings. Cool. Awesome. Now, for those of you who have already gone through the welcome module, that new training is in there. So I would recommend that you go through and skim through that additionally as well. Over here is the second training piece. is step number 1, module number 2. You go through all of the trainings in here as well. This is the foundation setup. So this is going to walk you through cleaning up your Facebook profile, kind of getting your G Drive set up, all of that good jazz that you may have already gone through as well. And Jacqui, this was actually going to be my recommendation to you, was that I think for your name on Facebook, I would recommend that you go ahead and change it to your actual name so it seems a little bit more legit. Yeah, that's just my I was going to throw that. I wanted to make sure I let you know about that on the kickoff call.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So that is module number 2. Awesome. Next up, what you're going to do is you're going to go through step number 2, module number 1, which is getting attention. So Asher, this is what you were talking about earlier when you talk about getting attention. This is going to be you understanding the marketing message, fitness, nutrition, and accountability, what it is that you're selling, how you're different from everybody else. That's going to be step number 2, module number 1. You go through all the trainings in here. Okay. That is part number 3 of this implementation pathway. Part number 4 is you're going to go through step number 1. You're going to go back to step number 1, module number 4, training number 7. Okay. So this is going to be us skipping for right now. Module number 3, we're going to go to module number 4, and then we're going to go down to training number 7, which is now what next. Okay. So we're going to skip down to this one, and we're going to go through this now what next training on here. Okay, just this one training, not all the modules, only this one training, because that's going to help break down for you guys exactly another 30,000 foot overview. Okay, now again, remember, the reason I've broken down the training this way is because my goal is for you guys not to get lost in training for the next like 6 weeks and be like, what happened to Danielle? Like, oh, she's still consuming training like, 50 weeks later. And they're like, oh, where'd she go? So my goal is to really kind of make sure that you guys are in and out on the training, and then we can come back and fill in the gaps based off the other training. But this is kind of me just prioritizing everything for you guys. Okay, awesome. Next up, we're going to then go through is step number 4, module number 1 is fulfillment overview and all of the trainings inside of this module. Okay, so we go here, step number 4, module number 1, fulfillment overview. This right here, these 9 trainings right here are the 30,000 foot overview of what is in all of these other trainings on here. So it basically breaks down to you, okay, I just sold my first client. What the heck do I do now? I'm super overwhelmed. There's a lot of stuff. Cool. Well, these trainings in here are going to say, cool, on the strategy session, this is what you got to do. Between the strategy session and the nutrition orientation, this is what you got to do. What is the nutrition orientation meeting? You got to do that. Nutrition orientation is our word for kickoff call. Basically, kickoff call for business is this meeting right here. You guys are going to be doing your own kickoff call, which is called a nutrition orientation, where you walk them through what their plan is, how their app works, all that kind of stuff. And so there's the steps that you got to take between the strategy session and the nutrition orientation. We break down that for you guys step by step. Cool. That is going to be the fulfillment. Yeah, go ahead.
Question. What about with clients? One of the things I was talking to Malik about was that I have clients in the past that I've done other programs with, right? So I've trained them, did virtual so on. And some of them, you just spoke to one just recently because I wanted to get his before and after picture. And he's like, yeah, he's probably lost 27 pounds, right? But he went off the system, but he's still continuing the program that I gave him, right? He's just doing it his own way. I want to reapproach them about with what I'm learning now. Is there a way to do that? Is that covered? I'm probably covering the modules of this,
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And so ultimately, I wouldn't say that we have a specific training for it per se, but the overall strategy is still going to apply, which is that we have a lot of clients that have been clients with us for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And the reason that's the case is because they do our program for 12 weeks, 24 weeks. And then they're like, cool, I'm good to go. And then, they gained the weight back. They had a wedding, they had something that happened. And then a year later, they come back and say, hey, you know what? I'm ready to do that program again. I'm looking for that accountability that I was missing, because even though they have the knowledge, they benefit from the accountability. And so ultimately, you just want to keep in mind that you're always selling the vacation, not the plane flight. And so even if they've gained the weight again, you tell them, hey, I don't want you to worry about the plane flight. The plane flight is like how we're going to get to the vacation, right? The TSA officer, you having to sit next to that smelly guy on the plane, all that kind of stuff. You tell them, hey, don't worry about any of that. Well, my goal is that when you were with me, you got down to 180 pounds, but you've now at 190 or 200 pounds. And my goal is to get you back to 180 pounds. Are you ready to do that? How are we going to do that? You can give them a little bit, like, oh, we're going to have one-on-one, we're going to be nutrition, I'm going to be accountability, going to be fitness, all this little bit. And the sales scripts goes over that, what the little bit is that you have to talk to them about. But ultimately what you're selling them on is that, hey, by buying this program, you are going to get to your results guaranteed, period. And then you give them as much that they need to know about the program, as minimal as needed. So that way you're not talking about mesometabolic rate, 10-day detox, hand method scale, measuring scale. I got this PDF, I'm going to show you. No, don't do that. They're going to be overwhelmed. You give them the minimum that is required for them to be able to say, cool, I think this is going to allow me to get to where I want to go. So to answer your question, you just resell him again based off of his goal. And the goal is going to be wherever he wants to get to ultimately. Great question.
And I think that's a good question, Asher, because, you know, it's in the back of my mind too. I'm thinking about another big part of why I wanted to come to OFP was because I do want to get my clients, you know, that extra 20% for results. And so in the back of my head, I'm thinking of clients that I've coached in the past who, you know, maybe I didn't have all of this together and I would love to approach them, but I don't even know what to, like, I know what to say, but I don't know what to say. So that's a good question. I appreciated it, you know?
Yeah. And the second thing on here, Danielle, do you want to hop in here?
No, I'm nodding.
Okay.
Same.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, one thing I wanted to touch base on here is action step number 7 is going to help you guys as well. So let me break this down also a little bit more. So once you go through fulfillment overview, you're then going to go through client acquisition setup and overview. So that's going to walk you through right here, right? Step number 3, module number 0, right over here. It's going to walk you through setting up your sales calendar, collecting credit card payments, getting your sales member agreement form. That's going to be that part right there. But then this right here is going to be critical. This is the strategy session training. Strategy session is our word for sales call. It's basically a game plan session, right? The call that you had with Coach and League, that's what we call it, strategy session. The script that's in here is specific for fitness. So how you're going to be explaining the program, how you're going to be able to help them sell the vacation, not the plane flight, the verbiage for that, the wording for all of that. The answer to that is going to be in the strategy session training. And that's going to be in step number 3, module number 4. So step number 3, module number 4, right over here, that entire sales script, we give you the sales script on here, and we break down every single part of the sales script, and we include real life sales examples for you guys to go through as well. Awesome. Now, here's the cool part about this, okay? And so what you're now going to do is action step number 8 is you are going to go ahead and use your Calendly link that you set up here in action step number 6, right? The calendar that you had your sales call with. You're going to use that to schedule a one-on-one free nutrition consult with 5 people. That can be 5 clients that you have right now. That can be 5 friends and family. You need to get your hands on 5 nutrition consults. I don't care how you get them. If you're on the side of the street with the traffic light with a sign saying, hey, sign up for my free nutrition consult, I don't care. How you get them, it doesn't matter. They can be existing clients, they can be past clients, they can be friends and family. Even if you have to kind of just like, I'm going to get to the pricing here in a second, but the point is that you got to get your hands on 5 free nutrition consults, okay? Then what you're going to do is you are going to conduct that one-on-one free nutrition consult using the strategy session script that we talked about right here, okay? Now, the difference though, and this is my recommendation for everybody that's starting out, is that the typical strategy session script is that we typically do teach you how to be able to pitch massive ticket packages at the end of that script. So like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. My recommendation for you guys as you guys get started with our system is don't pitch massive ticket prices. Instead, what you're going to be pitching is you're going to be pitching a 21-day challenge for $299. I'm going to say that again. When you get to the end of the strategy session, there's a section there called the pitch. The pitch is basically where you say what the pricing is and all that kind of stuff. It only happens at the very end of the strategy session. What you guys are going to be pitching is you guys are going to be pitching a 21-day challenge for $299. How do you fulfill on that challenge? Nothing changes. It's still the 12-step system. You still just walk them through 10-day detox, hand method skill, and measuring food skill. So nothing really changes in terms of the actual program. It's just that what it does is that it gets the client's head around a lower amount of money, and it allows them to get more confidence and belief about how this online system works. And then the third benefit is that it allows you to be able to get your feet wet in the OFP fulfillment system so you yourself can understand how all of this works. Now, that $299, what it is basically $99 a week. $99 a week is what we recommend for people who are starting out to be the baseline pricing. Okay, unless you're dealing with friends and family and like cousins and like people that you went to school with, like, and you're just trying to get your hands on a client, like if you're super beginner, then you can kind of discount that a little bit more if you're really struggling. But my recommendation is $99 a week. And so that's where like a 12-week program, $1,200, 24-week program, $2,400. Now, one client, I had a student on here earlier this week on a kickoff call, and she's like, is $99 like what we have to charge? I was like, yeah, $99 is what you got to charge. She's like, yeah, but what if I want to charge like $500 for my 21-day challenge? I was like, hey, I'm never going to stop you from charging more. And so if you guys want to charge more, you're more than welcome to. But $299 for 21 days is typically what we do recommend. Okay, now that is where you have a low barrier. It's not too much money for the prospect. It's not like you're pitching a $3,000 package on the first go around and their minds are blown. And then also when you're saying the price on the phone, you're like, yeah, the program's like $3,000 and I'm not really sure about all this stuff. And I'm really not like, and you're not confident yourself because you're like, dude, that's a lot of money for me to charge on the front end and on a program that I don't even know how it works. And so again, this is just for me to give you guys momentum. And then you guys are going to be able to get off to the races from there. Cool. After you do that with your 5 nutrition consults, you're probably going to have 1 or 2 online clients using the OFP system. What you're then going to do is you're going to go through, this is an action step on here, is you're going to go through the fulfillment setup and get your fulfillment setup. Step number 4, modules 1, 2, and 3. So step number 4, modules 1, 2, and 3. I know you've already gone through module 1 because I talked about it on here, module 1, but you're going to go through it again. But you're going to go through it again with the eye lens of, okay, I actually got to get stuff set up now because I got a client on the hook. Okay. That's action step number 10. Action step number 11, you're going to conduct a nutrition orientation with the clients. Okay, we have the training and the slides and all of that in here in onboarding. We literally, all of the slides that you need for nutrition orientation is already built out for you in onboarding. Okay, and so that is going to be one of the modules that you're going through when you're getting them set up. Now, I know this is a lot of information. Please don't get overwhelmed with me. I know I'm kind of just walking through it, but we have that training in the portal where I walk through this, as well as I'm going to be emailing this to you guys. So I know you guys are like, dude, I don't even remember what the heck you said on step number 1 right at this point. It's okay. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm just kind of giving you the 30,000 foot overview, and then you guys can go back through this on this part. Now, action step number 12. When that prospect gets to week number 3 of their program, you are going to meet with them again for another sales meeting. And that is going to be where you go ahead and sell them on the long-term program. Okay, so on week number 3 of that client's program, you're going to convert them to the long-term member using what we call the conversion sales meeting training script. And that sales script is located in the bonus section, front end, back end play. Don't worry. I have this listed right here, training, conversion, bonus. You can be like, oh, where the heck is all this? I'm so lost. I feel like I'm in an ocean. Don't worry, it's annotated on there. Okay, and then you're going to convert them. And then that's when you're going to sell the 12-week, 24-week, 58-week package. Because now they know how the system works. They've been with you for a while. They've lost 5 or 10 pounds. And they're going to be like, yes, take my money. Here's $3 grand for you now. Because you've warmed them up. Okay. And then after you've done through that process, you're going to hit up another 5 clients or the rest of your clients. You're going to repeat steps 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now, this is my recommendation for some students who have like a gym or they have like 33 clients or a larger number of clients. Is my recommendation is that don't send a mass text message. What I'm saying, or mass email, you got to reach out to these people individually. You got to say, hey, Tina, how's it going? How's Robert's soccer practice going? Like, it's really cool. Awesome. Hey, by the way, you know, I'm doing results guaranteed transformation coaching now. This is basically where we're going to guarantee that you lose the amount of weight that you're looking for. So that way you can hit your goal. How about you and I just set up a free one-on-one nutrition consult and talk about it a little bit more? So reach out to them one-on-one. Don't shoot out a mass text message and then they think that you're going to get a good hit rate that way. And so what you're going to do for action step number 14 is you're going to reach out to another 5. So you're kind of like batching them. Okay. You're batching the clients that you might have. So that way you can not burn your entire network, because in the first time you do this, you're going to suck. And so you don't want to just burn everybody when you actually suck. You actually want to get some momentum on this. And then finally, step number 15 on here is once you've gone through that, you kind of understand how the system works. You can then start hitting up more and more of your client pool or people that you've known, people in your network, that kind of stuff. And so like, for example, people like you, Asher, who've been in this for a long time, there's going to be a lot of old clients that you can reach out to and say, hey, I'm doing transformation coaching now for your nutrition consult. Let's talk about it. Okay. Now the message, let me go ahead and I talked to Jeremy about this a couple of days ago because he asked a question about this, was that when you reach out to people, this is going to typically be, this is later on. Okay. I'm going to tack this on the bottom just so it's in the recording. And what I'll do is I'll probably clip this recording and put it in the portal for you guys as well. So you guys can reference what I just talked about. But the second thing I was going to talk to you guys about is that this is the script that when you reach out to old clients that you can use. Hey, this is, Asher, this is Jeremy from X and YZ Fitness. We recently launched a new guaranteed one-on-one weight loss program that is 100% online. What are your goals right now, fitness-wise, lose weight, tone up, or both? And then when they reply, you would then just go through the booking calls messenger script conversation, because the rest of the conversation, we've already scripted it out for you in here. You just go through this and know how to book the call from there. If what I just said flew over your head, please don't worry about it. It's in there. Yes, Danielle.
Do you guys have scripts in there for, the clients who are more in the tone up category? So like the pitch wouldn't be so much about guaranteed weight loss, but more about toning up, strength, maintenance, just being healthy? Or is it more weight loss on the script?
Yes, great question, great question. So in the scripts, what you're really doing, and this is what a good salesperson does, is in the script, you go through a first portion of the sale, which is called the discovery section. The discovery section is where you basically uncover what their motivations and what their pain point is for wanting to get tone, lose weight, whatever their goal is, right? Whatever it could be. And then what you do is in the pitch, what you do is you just take what they said, the exact words that they said, and you just put those in the pitch. And so that's what an actual sales script looks like, is that the script shouldn't actually be something that you're like saying that of your own words to them for the first time. A good sales script, and then we talk about this in the sales training, is that you just take their own words and say those exact same things. And so if their goal is to lose weight and maintain and all that kind of stuff, you need to still find the pain, because if somebody doesn't have the pain, they're not going to get the sale. And so you need to find the pain. Why do you want to still lose weight? What is your fear if you don't, why do you still want to maintain? What is your fear if you don't maintain? Why do you want to tone up? What is your fear if you don't tone up? Those kinds of things. And then whatever they say there is what you just feed back to them on the pitch.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense.
This is not like a templated script that you just have the same weight loss pitch for every single person. It's literally individualized based off of what the prospect tells you.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. Now I am running out of time here, so I'm going to kind of fly through the rest of this. Like I said, I will go ahead and take this recording and put it in there as well for you guys. But the biggest thing I want you guys to know on this is, just like Buzz Lightyear told Woody in Toy Story, don't worry, we've got your back. Just like the little puppy says you got this, little baby says you got this, Morgan Freeman says you got this. And believe it or not, even Mr. T says you got this. Having Mr. T saying you got this was so important that I used the last 30 seconds of my time to make sure that you guys knew that Mr. T says that you got this, you guys. Okay. Now, the reason I'm going to, if I do go a couple minutes over time, you guys are more than welcome. If you have another call, you guys are more than welcome to hop off. I want to be respectful of your guys' time. If you guys don't have anything else, I'm going to kind of just close out here. So again, does anybody have anything you got to hop off with, Danielle?
How long, like, what would you say is guidance on getting through the steps in this implementation pathway list? Like, if you were to break that down into number of weeks, is this something we should be doing over the next week or two? Like, give me kind of a timeline. Yeah.
Great question. So if you are doing this full time, I want to see you guys get through this training in the next week. Shouldn't take you any more longer than that. If you're doing this part time, then you can do up to 2 weeks. But regardless, within 2 to 3 weeks, you guys should have your first batch of clients.
How many hours
And again,
approximately?
that's a good
On
question.
average, obviously everyone's different, but I get it, like terms of.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I'll be honest,
because that's how I look at things. How much time do I have allotted in the day?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually have not sat down and added up like the actual hours that it would take to go through all the training itself. But I'll be honest, the training, they're very punchy. They're like, 5, 10, 15 minutes a pop. Our goal isn't to let you guys sit down in massive trainings. But I would say full-time, a whole week, I would say like maybe like 8 hours of training altogether, but 8 hours that you can split up over the course of the entire week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the goal is get through 1 through 15 in 2 weeks.
Great questions. The goal would be to get through, I would say, because this one here, like the conversion meeting, that's going to happen on week 3, right? So I would say the goal is to get through 1 through 10 within the first 3 weeks.
Got it.
Great question. Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Does anybody, because like I said, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Does anybody have another commitment after this, or is it okay if I go about 10 minutes over time?
I have to be somewhere at 12:30 Eastern time. So I think I'm ready for you. So about
Gotcha.
30 minutes. Yeah, I got to leave out here about 15 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So we're good. We're good. So we should be good for another 5 or 10 minutes on there.
Mhm.
So awesome. So that is the implementation pathway. Now that I don't have to rush it because I know I have a little bit more time, what other questions do you have regarding this implementation pathway that I can help answer for you guys? Anything come to mind? Cool. Awesome. Now, here is once you get past a couple of these points on here, that's when I would recommend hopping on a coaching call, because then we can talk about what your guys' implementation pathway looks like for cold prospects. Because it's going to be very similar. You're still going to typically pitch the $299 for 21 days for cold prospects, but cold prospects are much harder to close because there isn't that inbuilt rapport and trust. And so that's where, that's where once you finish these steps, you want to go in and kind of get your group set up, kind of go through that portion. But now you understand, Asher, where my goal is like, yes, you could get the group set up, but I would rather you just tap into your warm network and get your first couple online clients rather than spending time on getting your group set up, if that makes sense.
Okay, so for me, I haven't done like this type of thing before in a while, right? So the clients I met was through like a networking group, okay? And they were not good quality clients, right? The people that they were not committed. It was very clear about it. I have people that I've worked with in gyms in the past, but so that's why I'm thinking that potentially giving them some content, some material. Obviously, I think of the free nutrition orientation is a one way to reel them in, right?
Yeah.
I'm fishing in the sea here. But what I'm thinking is that like, I don't have a database, right? They're just from all over places. So I want to put them into some type of format, like a CRM or something. That was some of the old system that I used. I do think that would be helpful. Is there any way that I could do that? And obviously then maybe explaining the training, I may be jumping a step, but
no, absolutely. No, this is great because like I said, we are piecemealing this for you guys in your guys' individual situations. So my goal is to help make sure that we can answer your guys' specific situations here. So kind of like what you call a CRM is what we call leads tracking. My recommendation is just use a Google Sheets. We do provide a template in there, bonus leads tracking. You can just kind of open this up, make a list of all the people you want to reach out to. But initially I would say, don't overthink it. Even if it ends up just being friends and family, you don't need a massive database for this. Have somebody start. My goal is for you to get your feet wet to understand how the fulfillment process works. Even if that is like friends and family, a client that's maybe not the best client you want to work with long-term. The point being is that I need you to get into momentum so you understand what the fulfillment product looks like. Because what I've seen from my experience with students is that they get caught up too much with like the Facebook group and kind of figuring out lead gen and that kind of stuff, but they still don't have the confidence about what the actual fulfillment looks like. And so when they end up on sales calls, they're kind of hesitant and the prospects can sense that hesitancy inside of their voice. And so my goal is to kind of get you guys that momentum with whoever it is. Honestly, like even if you end up having to go on a discount, be like, hey, $49 a week, 3 weeks, $150, I don't care. Let me get you to the door. Now, that isn't an excuse for you guys to go out and charge, like help people for free. Because sometimes people take what I just said and say, oh, cool, I'm just gonna help people for free. No, my goal is for you guys because people pay attention. And so my recommendation is to get some skin in the game so that way they will pay attention and then be able to get through the fulfillment so you can understand what this actually looks like. Awesome. Cool. Now, I do have a couple, one last question on here before I give you guys some next action steps, is that I would love to hear from you guys in terms of from the moment that you heard about OFP, right? You maybe saw an Instagram ad, you joined the group, you consumed the trainings, talked to Coach Malik, had the kickoff call with me, kind of went through the training, is from that entire process, what has been the part of the process that you have enjoyed the most so far? And Danielle, since you're at the top of my screen again, I'll go ahead and start with you.
I think for me was probably, I hope I'm like calling this the right thing, but the strategy session with Coach Malik, it was just so personal. I mean, he spent 2 hours with me on the phone. No other coach or program that I evaluated spent that much one-on-one time with me. And it was awesome because like we really digged into the nuances of my situation specifically. I mean, he took like notes on Google Sheets and then gave me the Google Sheet, which was really helpful. I just found it to be like super personable, highly knowledgeable. And yeah, I would say so far, and don't want to take any credit away from you. This has also been fabulous, but I think that was awesome just to have that like one-on-one time to get kind of drilled down on my business specifically.
I love it. Awesome. Absolutely. Yeah. I appreciate the feedback. And how about you, Jacqui? What was the part of the process that you've enjoyed so far throughout your journey on OFP so far?
So, as you can tell, I'm like, I'm a big picture person. I need to see all of the details so that I can step back and think. So for me, because like Asher, I've been in other programs prior to this one. I think the most awesome thing thus far is just seeing the actual delivery of what I need in the material. Like when you say the whole, like it's there, it's literally in a box for you, considering some of the other things that I've done, like it's literally there. So that's been really, really made me feel comfortable, made me feel confident about this decision to move forward, and just in seeing like, oh shit, I curse. I didn't know. Yeah. Like I didn't know that those
Thursday, it's all good.
I needed, there. So that's been really encouraging to keep going forward, because it's very clear that you guys have thought about things and put things and like drilled it down, like, and I love that. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate the feedback. And honestly, if there is anything that's in the portal that isn't talked about, and you're like, you know what, like in Asher's situation, how we brought up, the CRM and the lead tracking, those kinds of things, either it's in there where it's hard to find because, there's a lot of stuff in there, or it's something that maybe we haven't talked about it on a coaching call. Like literally yesterday, people were talking about, hey, what's this new implementation pathway that you've been talking to people, new students about? And I did an impromptu training and I just literally broke it down. And so if something's not there that you guys are like, you know what, I'm really struggling with this, please don't hesitate to bring it up, because we are here to support you guys and we have no issues building things out for you guys from scratch if need to be. So I appreciate that, Jackie. Absolutely. Asher, how about you, my man? What has been the part of the process that you've enjoyed the most so far?
Yeah, so similar to Jackie's situation, being through other programs before in the past, I got sold on twice, first two, and I was in crisis mode because I don't like having my business shut down and out of my control, right? So the fact that I sat down with Malik and he didn't sell me on the first time, we actually went through, we discussed all the aspects of my business, what I was not working, areas that I can improve upon. And I'm spending a lot of time in my own personal development right now. That was a key thing for me, because the other program was like, someone just got on the phone, was like, here's a package, here's a deposit you have to put down in order to reserve your spot for the next one. And went, oh, no, we're not doing this again. That's not happening. So I got my deposit back and all that. But the fact that we broke it down, went through all these steps, I recognized that there's a human aspect to this, as opposed to just being another number in this thing. I like to have more one-on-one coaching calls. I'm not a big fan of group coaching, but I did get a chance to get on the call on Wednesday, so I got an idea of this. And my thing is getting through procrastination, like breaking down and like following through. And then so the fact that we went through all this to get the ideas of where I need to go, that was very, helpful to me. And that you're going through this right now with this orientation, because there's going to be a lot of questions that I'm going to have. It's just naturally I ask questions, right? That's how I best learn. So the fact that we're going through this part now, and then I can come back later on, whether in the student community or getting on a call. So I guess it's a combination of both. You guys are very professional how you set up this thing, and you have a lot of intricate details and information in here. And I appreciate the fact that I actually feel confident that I could be a 6-figure, 7-figure earner from this. With the other ones, I was kind of like, well, maybe type of thing. But here it's like, and maybe because I've already got my feet wet in this, that could be the other thing. So
yeah, absolutely.
Combo both.
100%. I appreciate the feedback. And one of the things I want to go ahead and point out here is that the reason why I think that conviction and confidence comes from us is because we've actually done this. This is not something we read in a book and like put this together. Is literally last year when we started NutriFit Wellness, we literally had 3 full-time coaches with 70 clients a pop, and we scaled this to multiple 6 figures before we said, you know what, like we didn't decide that, hey, we're going to build a business teaching other people how to do this. That wasn't our goal. The reason this happened was because we were running a successful online health and wellness coaching business with over 200, 300 clients. And then we had a bunch of people who were PTs and gym owners saying, yo, it's COVID. How the heck are you guys making money? And how are you guys making so much money? And so we kind of fell into this entire process and being able to help people with this. And so the reason why we have all these assets and intricate details is because we're literally giving you guys the assets that we used in order to build our online health and wellness coaching business to multiple 6 figures in revenue. And so that's why I want to kind of just give you that, is like, we've done this, and I want you guys to have the confidence that we are here for you guys. And then the other element of this is that when you hopped on the coaching call, Asher, I'm sure you saw, is that on the coaching calls, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, they are similar to one-on-ones, meaning we only bring on one student at a time, and we literally break down everything in terms of mindset, in terms of obstacles, in terms of strategy, in terms of tactics that they might be having. And so it's not like, hey, we're going to be lecturing at a bunch of group of people. And you guys can hop on the coaching calls and get that one-on-one element Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays as well. Awesome. Cool beans. Awesome. I appreciate the feedback, you guys. So these are the next action steps. Big thing on here, you need to make sure that you are taking time out to go through the training portal regularly. That is absolutely critical. If you're a morning person, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., whatever it might look like. If you're a night person, put the kids to sleep, put everybody to sleep, tell, hey, husband, I'm out, wife, I'm out, I got to go do my stuff, whatever it might look like, right? Just make sure that if you guys don't get through the training, you won't know what it is that you need to do to be successful. Step number 3, make sure that you tune in to as many coaching calls as you need, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I would love to see you guys in the first couple of weeks, at least attend one a week. I do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Coach Malik does Wednesdays. And so if you guys want to hop on there, that would be absolutely phenomenal. The 4th step, we will be tagging you guys once a week, either on Fridays or Sundays, in an accountability post. I'm going to be tagging you. I'm going to say, hey, Asher, what's going on? Where are you at in the action steps? Yo, Jacqui, what's going on? Danielle, where are you at? I'm going to be tagging you guys. I please ask that you do go ahead and reply back to my tag inside of the student community so I can have a pulse on where you guys are at and making sure that you guys are successful with this. So ultimately, that's what I got. Again, I apologize. I know. Oh, Jacqui, do you have a question?
Just one question. When or where is the implementation updated? Does that happen in that accountability post? Like once we've gone through these first 15 or whatever, and you're like, oh, okay, this is where we need to go next. How is that announced or shared or?
Yeah, absolutely. So after that implementation pathway, that's where on the bottom of that, it says to hop on a coaching call. So that way we can go ahead and see where you're at and what you struggled with. But I'll be honest, 9 times out of 10, once you go through that implementation pathway the first time, you can kind of build your own implementation pathway because of the fact that you now understand how the system works. And then it's just a matter of filling in more leads and lead gen and going through all that training. And so the main goal of this first implementation pathway is for you guys not to get hung up. And so my goal is to get you that initial momentum. But then once you understand how the system works, you guys will be able to do what you guys do best, which is be business owners. And you guys say, cool, I now understand how the system works. Now I'm just going to go ahead and fill the bucket, get my Facebook group up and running, get my organic going, get my paid traffic going. And then it's just the same process over and over and over again that you did in this first implementation pathway. You just keep doing it over and over and over again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely. You. Great question. Great question. Cool. Before I let you guys go, any last minute question, any other questions, comments, and concerns? Anything else that comes to mind? You good? Awesome. Cool. Well, this time I have something phenomenal Friday. So it's not a Wednesday where unfortunately the poor souls on Wednesday, I always say have a wacky Wednesday. They're like, what? That doesn't sound as cool as phenomenal Friday. So you guys get phenomenal Fridays. Hope you guys have a phenomenal Friday. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Please, please, please don't make this the last time that we see you guys. Please communicate with us. Make sure that you guys are being successful with this program. If there's anything you guys need, please don't hesitate to reach out. Hope you guys have a phenomenal, phenomenal Friday. And then I will catch you guys again very soon.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Everyone. Thank you, guys.
Take care. Bye. Absolutely. Take care, guys. Bye.
First weekend. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.